first one on the field and one of the hardest and most positive workers on the team. But she didn't think she was as good as the other players on her team because she didn't score a lot of goals. As practice ended and the group began to surround Mr. Inimitable, sitting on the ground to hear the story, Meredith started to feel nervous again. "Okay, guys, it started before I ever set foot inside the school. I remember moving day like it was yesterday," Coach Trent began. Inimitable. Adjective, so good or unusual as to be impossible to copy. Unique. Enigma. Noun. A person or thing that is mysterious, puzzling, or difficult to understand. A riddle. Chapter 1. Moving Day. There was hardly space to get comfortable in the back seat, with every square inch of the car filled with anything and everything that didn't fit into the moving truck. A floor lamp and a mop pole divided the back seat between Trent and Emma. A stack of books, pillows, and blankets were piled up on the seat, propping up the poles, and the two siblings took turns trying to shove the pile a little farther away from their own side. It was another move. Trent was used to the process of packing, driving, unpacking, rearranging rooms, and eating takeout for a week while Mom tried to find all the dishes. "This is the last move, guys," promised their dad as they had brought the boxes back out of the garage to tape together again. But he had said that the time before, too. Trent heard him talking to some of his friends one night about being on a fast track to success and expanding territories, whatever that meant. He just knew that for him, it meant moving every time a new city launched new stores, and they were on move number 6. Even though Trent was used to moving, he never got used to starting all over at a new school. He had a really hard time making friends, so when he would make one and then have to leave, it was really hard to say goodbye. He tried to stay in touch with his friends at each place, but he wasn't really there long enough to create long-lasting bonds, and eventually they stopped messaging. Trent had another worry, a big one. Every school he went to, he had to deal with the teasing, bullying, and laughing over the one thing he desperately wanted to hide. Having to face another group of kids who were going to tease him was almost too much to imagine. He slid down in his seat and turned up his music to drown out his thoughts. He glanced over at Emma, dancing in her seat with her pink headphones and coloring in her doodle notebook. She loved moving. He couldn't understand it. How did she not have to deal with the same bullying he did? He could think of a list of things to make fun of her about right now off the top of his head. After all, she was his little sister. Chapter 2. Can you hear me? Deep inside of a dream while he dozed off in the back seat, Trent's fears about the new school brought painful memories back to the surface. "Hey, new kid, can you hear me now?" "How about now?" came the voices from behind him, getting louder and louder. He tried to speed up to get away, but as he started to create some distance, other voices came from all sides of him. "Slow down, you're creating a windstorm," called out one of the voices, followed by a burst of laughter. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, came Mrs. Jenkins, his third-grade teacher. She walked right in front of him, and suddenly he found himself sitting at his desk, looking right up at her face. She leaned in and said with an irritated tone, "Trent, did you hear me? Joe can't see the board. Can you move your desk to the left so he can see around you?" The room filled with laughs and more comments that he couldn't make out because of the blood rushing to his head with embarrassment. The room started to get dark, and his desk was bumping around a lot. What was going on, he thought. Honk! Came a loud horn from the car behind him as Trent bolted awake in his seat, still pressed up against the mop pole and the pile of books and blankets. Another bad dream. He was not looking forward to a new school. The faces changed, but the teasing was always the same. He pulled out his phone and turned on the camera to look at them again. Not that he needed to. He had it memorized, and they never changed. If only there was something he could do, all of his problems would go away. He made a decision right then and there that the new school was not going to see him like this. He would find a way to blend in and avoid being made fun of no matter what it took. Invisible Trent. If only I could be a superhero with the power to disappear, he thought. "Hey guys, look over there, it's your new school," said their mom. "Looks like a